1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, y'all? You know what it is. It's a three-peat podcast. I'm your host, Nat. You can call me Nat the GM, of course. I want to welcome my new co-host, Jones. What's up, man?
What's up? Thank you for having me, Nat. I'm excited to get a part of this show, this podcast, and give the people what they want. Let's talk some
Oh,
basketball, it's NBA
absolutely.
playoffs.
Absolutely. Before we get into it, we're going to get into the injury report with Brian Scott. Brian is the orthopedic Brian is an orthopedic physician assistant, host of the Injured List podcast, and a sports injury expert. So let's bring in Brian.
What's up?
What's going on, Brian?
What's going on?
Well, there's
bro?
a lot going on in the NBA playoffs when it comes to injuries these days. That's for sure. I'm excited to be
Tell
on.
us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Where do we
back.
start? Where do we start? how
Oh, yeah.
about with the fact that 30 minutes ago they just said Giannis is going to be out, and
Ooh.
that drove me crazy because yesterday they said he was doubtful. Then he got upgraded to questionable this afternoon, and then 30 minutes ago now he's out. So I'm kind of surprised. I actually thought he was going to try to play through this. Sounds like it was just a contusion. It didn't look that bad. I know it sounded pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it happens a lot in the NBA. So I'm kind of surprised by this. I thought he'd have a little bit more gumption and fortitude to get out there tonight.
Right.
But he's not. So let's see what kind of implications this has. It's anytime you're without your superstar, it's going to be bad.
Yes.
Moving right along, John Morant, probably other big name out there that is not playing tonight either.
Yeah.
They announced again today that he's going to be out, but they did scans on his hand, found no fractures, no substantial injuries, just some soft tissue contusions, which are bruises essentially. So again, I'm kind of surprised that he's not playing.
Right.
He had it taped up, and this is the second injury to that hand within the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And it is his shooting hand, so that's understandable too,
Yeah.
I guess. But there's really no magical tape job for that. So it really comes down to pain tolerance. And apparently it hurt enough that he couldn't shoot, couldn't dribble well. So he's out. And I'm a little surprised by that. I think if we rewound to when I was younger, and I'm probably a lot older than you guys, a lot of players would have played through this stuff in the playoffs. But, who am I to judge?
Right. Absolutely.
But, compound that for the Grizzlies with the fact that Steven Adams is out and there's no timetable for him to return. They're saying he's probably going to miss the entire playoffs. And they're already out without Brandon Clark due to an Achilles injury late in the season. Those are some big guys to be missing. It's been confirmed that Tyler Hero fractured his hand. At least that's what they reported. But in actuality, it's actually two fingers on his shooting hand, his middle finger and his ring finger. Not exactly sure where the fractures are. But first they said he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, may be able to come back for a late playoff run if they get that far. But now they're saying he's having surgery on Friday. So it's not his actual hand; it's actually his fingers, and that sucks because rehabbing your fingers after surgery is very difficult. It takes a lot of work, and a lot of things can go wrong with those type of procedures and stuff. So unfortunate for him. He should be able to get back on the court in the offseason and get ready for next season, but really sucks to have him go down. And then Paul George for the Clippers has been out for several weeks now. He got hurt sometime in March, and then I think it was the 21st, and they originally said that they'll evaluate him in 2 weeks. He basically hyperextended his knee. Well, that time came and went, and then now they're saying that he's not available and maybe missed the entire first round. MRI didn't show any structural damage to the knee, so I'm not really sure how significant it is or what's going on with him. He's like 35 years old now, and then you got Kawhi playing on a bum knee. I mean, that's huge for the Clips. So I'm not sure, how far they're going to go without one of their star players. And then the only other one I wanted to report on was Domantas Sabonis. Got stepped on violently by Draymond Green. I'm sure you guys will talk about that later. But serious potential injury there. Sounds like he just got a bruise to the sternum and the ribs, which is expected. So nothing serious, but he's listed as questionable for Game 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The playoffs just started.
I know. So I made a Twitter post a few days ago, and I'm like, this could be the year that we start to see some of these young stars come to the forefront with all these old guys trying to get back to the finals. Now they're all getting hurt. Load management has failed miserably, in my opinion, and I hate it. And maybe this will be the year that we find out why it sucks so bad, why it means nothing, and guys should just suck it up and get out there.
Absolutely. Brian, is there anything? Oh, as well, Draymond Green, there's no injury, but he'll be out Game 3, correct?
Yeah, he's suspended one game.
Yep.
And rightfully so, I feel. Rightfully so.
We're gonna get into that at some point. But listen, there's a lot of adjustments that have to happen, as you know, and as you just said, Giannis, not playing, in versus Milwaukee, versus Miami. That is huge. It's as you know, Miami won the first game.
Yes.
That is huge, actually. They look
very big.
Miami's older teams in the league, believe it or not.
Right.
So it doesn't help that one of their young guys is out now for basically the entire playoffs. One of the young stars. So big hit there. But what really gets me with these guys is like these aren't like major injuries, with the exception of Tyler Hero. Like what's going on, guys? Like this is the playoffs. This is what all that load management is for. This is why you do all this offseason conditioning. This is what it's all about. And I guess I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but if I had to give credit to anybody, it's him, because he's out there. He's playing 40 something minutes a game, whatever it is, and he's doing it. Like he has
20, 38.
I give props to him for that. But these other guys, man, they're really not helping their teams out by not playing through some bumps and bruises here.
Yeah. Ja Morant is very surprising, because if there's no structural damage and it's not broken, why aren't you playing? What's going on? That's the one that I'm looking at the most. Like, what's going on there? Wrap it up. We've seen this happen. The guys wrap up their hands. Athletes wrap up their hands. If it's not broken, it's not torn, you ice it, do whatever you have to do, and you get out there and you play. We've seen the best of them do it. And we've also seen guys come off the bench that maybe are not stars, but they, get out there and play, so I'm very, it's weird when it comes to Ja Morant and the Grizzlies.
I'm wondering if there's not something more at play there. Ja Morant at 50%, or even with one hand behind his back, is better than a lot of guys at full strength, full speed. So, it's kind of shocking to me that he wasn't going to at least try it, even maybe be available off the bench. But to sit out the entire game,
I agree with both of you, because Ja's not a good shooter anyway. So for him to be sitting out this game when he doesn't need to really necessarily shoot, he can still be aggressive, attack the basket, and get his guys open. Yeah. Right. So all your points, it's a head scratcher for me, especially knowing how important this game is. I know it's only game 2, but if you give the Lakers 2 games on the road and then they're going back home to the crib, you're putting yourself at risk.
I don't know.
Same with the Bucks for me.
Giannis, this is the thing. Giannis was doubtful yesterday, as you said, just a few minutes ago. He was questionable. So okay, so what that usually means is yesterday you were in pain, and then today they say, hey, we need you, or you said, hey, I need to be out there, and then when you got out there, it wasn't working.
Wasn't feeling that.
And I mean, he's had enough time to get some treatments to prevent that back from stiffening up on him, and to do whatever he needs to do to prepare. So I'm really not feeling it, not understanding it, and I was hoping for more from him, being a MVP and a champion already.
Especially
all these games count. Every single game is vital. If you're gonna have any chance at repeating or being a follow-up champion, you have to be out there.
Especially 100%. Knowing the Bucks know this Miami team. It's not like they're a stranger to this Miami team. They've played them multiple times in the playoffs before, and they know that this is one of the most dangerous teams in the East, regardless of seed. So for them to possibly give away a game where now the Heat are going home with momentum, just like we just said with the Lakers, they're putting themselves at big risk.
Bucks are also one of the older teams in the league, and Giannis is like in his prime, and he's their all-star superstar. I mean, to not have him out there is a huge blow.
Well, they lack some athleticism. You know, when you take Giannis out of the equation, you know, Giannis makes that engine go. You know, and as we all seen in that first, you know, game, if he's not out there, it changes the way they play and it slows them down. And now some guys have to, you know, step up and do some things that maybe they don't have to do usually because he's there. So it changes everything as far as what Milwaukee wants to do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this in this game, you know, and how they play. So we appreciate you coming, Brian, and giving us the injury report, and we are going to see you next time, and hopefully we have some guys coming back.
Yeah, maybe I'll be reporting on some good news with guys returning to action rather than leaving.
100%. Crossing my fingers, Brian.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brian. Have a good one.
Brian.
Take care.
All right, guys. So let's get into it, Jones. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the week on repeat. Let's get into that.
Let's do it.
So let's talk about the very first game on Saturday, which was Brooklyn versus Philly. As you see, Brooklyn gave a good effort, you know, but it's not enough. They don't have enough. You know, it's amazing and it's remarkable that they got to the 6th seed. You know.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but typically they go down by 20, you know, they lose by 20 and 121 to 101, you know, as you know, Miles Bridges, 30 points, you know, and 5 rebounds. He was the guy, you know. Yep. The next person had 18, which was Cam Johnson. And then it goes down from there and down.
Exactly.
You know, let's see, Embiid 26, 5 and 3, not a huge blowout, you know, kind of game. And Embiid didn't give his, you know, some usual 33, 35 points, you know, but then you had Harden who just went crazy from 3, 7 of 13 from 3, 8 of 21 from the field, but he had 23, 4 and 13. The next person, Tobias Harris, 21 points, 4 rebounds and 4 assists. And they got some production off the bench from Paul Reed, 11 points, 4 rebounds, you know, 8 points from Niang, and McDaniels had 5 points. Did you watch that game and what did you think?
I watched that game. Before I go, what was Maxi's? Do you happen to have Maxi's points for that first game?
I do. So Maxi had 13, 6 and 3.
Okay, 13, 6 and 3. And we didn't get into game 2, but we'll probably talk about game 2 a little bit later. Yeah. But Maxi and Tobias Harris, for me, are the X factors for the 76ers. We know what we're going to get out of James Harden. We know what we're going to get out of the MVP and Embiid. Those two, you never know. Well, especially Tobias Harris, you never know what you're going to get out of him. Sometimes he's an all-star or a star player, and then sometimes he looks like a bench player, the 14th guy off the bench.
100%.
Maxi, one of the guys that James Harden has, which I love, by the way, James Harden has put under his wing and said, you're next. You are a star on this team. We need you to be the best you can be because without you, we're not going to be successful. And I feel like Maxi is one of those guys that can step up to the plate more often than Tobias Harris. Like you said with the Nets, that's what we're going to get from the Nets. We're going to get the best players to put up numbers.
Yep.
But you're not going to get much from the rest of the guys, and they're going to put up a good effort because they have some decent players on that team. It's not like they did make the 6 seed. Now, obviously, that was because of what Durant and Kyrie helped do, but still, they still at the end made a nice push and made it look respectable. But that's all they're going to be able to do in this series with the 76ers.
Agreed. This is going to be a quick series, as we know. I'm not really going to put too much stock in this one.
Right.
And as we know, we had Boston versus Atlanta. Boston clearly 112-99. So when it comes to them, Jaylen Brown had it going 29, 12, and 3, Tatum 25, 11, and 2, Derek White 24, 5, and 9, Marcus Smart 11, 7, and 7, Al Horford 6, 9, and 2, and then off the bench, Brogdon 5, 5, and 2, and then Robert Williams 12, 8, and 2. This is an 8-man rotation right now. That's it. 3 people came off the bench, So
Boston can be the best team in the league when they play their best basketball by far. Like coming into this season, obviously they went through some of the things with their coach and, had to revamp and fix what he can't bring to them anymore. But I thought coming into this season, they were going to be exactly like they were last year. Now, obviously that didn't turn out to be the same. Their defense isn't as good as they were last year, but they're still one of those. Every once in a while, they'll light it up. I call him JJ, Jason. Jason and Jalen. When they light it up, it just seems like the rest of the team just follows, and that's what you need, especially now in the playoff. When your 2 best team players play good, and then the bench just follows, how could you stop them? The Hawks, they're going to give it their best effort, but they don't have what it takes to beat that team. They're a decent team. They got talent. They got Trey. They got Murray. It didn't work out as good as we thought it would have. I thought they were going to be a top 5 team, top 4 team when they got Murray, but they still have a lot of problems that they have to fix.
Oh yeah, 100%. See, Atlanta, obviously they don't have a shot. They don't have a chance. It's just they don't have a chance. If you look at it, Murray had 24, 8, and 6, really good numbers.
Yeah.
Really good numbers. But the problem is Trae Young had 16, 3, and 8.
Yeah.
So
hot and cold.
That's your guy, but Trae Young is the guy, but yet he can't crack 20 in this particular game. And then you have 12 here and 12 there with Capella and Collins, Hunter with 11, and then the bench, 6 here, 9 here. But then Boston just, they got guys close to 30 points, and all 3 are in the 20s. That's a big difference,
A huge difference. And I have a question for you. I
Yes.
saw that I forgot where this vote came from. It might have been the players or somewhere else, that Trae Young was voted the most overrated player in the NBA. What are your thoughts on
that? I can't say he's overrated. I can't do that to him and his skill set and what he's done. People have to remember this is a guy that, he's been able to average close to 30 or at 30 points.
25 and 9.
Yeah, you can't say somebody is overrated that consistently does that. I think the issue is he has some pieces around him that don't mix. So it takes him out of his game. So the coaching has never clicked. And, once he's gotten to the league, this is maybe his 3rd, maybe 4th coach right now. And Quinn Snyder is really good. So I'm actually expecting some great things from them next year. But this team does not make sense necessarily. And also there's some things that Trae can do to improve his own game. He can't live and die by that 3. Everyone is not Steph Curry. And although you can make that shot, if you are not as efficient as he is, then you should not be shooting that shot and living and dying by it. So I think that Trae Young, also undersized, but the undersized guard. I mean, we have to say that as well. But I think that he is a really, really good point guard. But there's some maturity, that needs to happen with him as well. And, I don't think everyone likes playing with him. So that there's some things with him that have to change as well. But I think it's an and kind of thing. It's like, yes, and, yes, he can mature. Yes, he can do things better, but this team does not fit his skill set. I'm waiting for them to have, this is a wings league. I'm waiting for them to get, an elite wing, maybe, or somebody develops into an elite wing, so that'll be different. But I will never say that man is overrated. And I think that's unfair, actually. So
I'm with you on that. I think they were bugging when they're saying that. And I think they're just looking at the fact that hasn't gone too far. I mean, he made it to the conference finals, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, that's a couple years ago.
People forget about that.
They do.
They forget about that. So I'm with you. He's not overrated. 25-9. That's not easy to do in the NBA. In
the NBA, absolutely. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Underdog Fantasy is here to save your post-fantasy football season blues. The easiest place to play and win with the Underdog Fantasy app. Get up to 20 times your money in a single night with our Pick'em contests. Grab some insurance when setting your picks and win even when one pick fails. Go online now and use the promo code 3PEAT to double your deposit up to $100. Sit gingerbread, good girl.
Yeah, guys, and remember, go to Underdog Fantasy and use the promo code 3PEAT, and we will double your deposit up to $100. All right. Listen, we got to talk about this game. So New York versus Cleveland, that went down to the wire, 101-97. New York takes it, on Cleveland's home floor. You got Brunson with 27, 2-2, 19-10 from Randall. The rest of the guys in this starting lineup, 5 for Grimes, Robinson 6-8, RJ Barrett 7-4. But then off the bench, Josh Hart. Josh Hart. He's been a guy that I've been watching for a very long time since he's entered this league, and he is such a Swiss Army knife. I love this guy. 17-10 and 2 off the bench, and he was a +5. What can you say about a guy coming off your bench and giving you that kind of production?
Absolutely.
Quickly, some people seem to think he's the sixth man. He's not. I don't. He's not. He had 3 and 3. On that game, he was just whatever, 3 and 3. Josh Hart was the reason they won that game.
No question.
He doesn't come off the bench giving you 17 and 10. They do not win that game. That is a series. I actually have the Knicks winning. So what do you think, Jones?
I'm with you. I think Josh Hart was definitely the reason they won that game, especially when your star player and Jalen Brunson, had foul trouble in the first half, and he was basically on the bench the first half. So every point that Josh Hart gave them was needed. Yep. And at every point that we needed it too, when the Cavs were making a run, Donovan Mitchell was lights out in that game. And every time he came with a shot, Josh Hart would come with a shot. And it was just like, Josh Hart, this is exactly what we needed. And I'm a big Knicks fan. So for those that don't know, I'm a big Knicks fan. I'm from New York. So nice. I'm excited when the Knicks are in the playoffs because we don't get it so often. So just to see the Knicks playing the way they did, yesterday was a little different, but we talking about game one here. So let me just soak into that.
Game one.
But yeah, it was a good game. I'm with you. I'm with the Knicks, not just being biased. I actually think the Knicks have what it takes to finish and win this series. I think me personally, I think it's one of 3 matchups that are just even. I think the Knicks versus Cavs are as even as it can get outside of Donovan Mitchell, because obviously he's their star player. He's better than everybody. He can give you 70. But other than that, I think it is evenly matched. I think these teams are going to go back and forth, and it's going to be a great series.
100%. I agree with you. You know, some people were shocked. I actually posted my bracket, the last episode, and some people were shocked that I picked the Knicks over Cleveland. I said, why? I'm like, why are you shocked? And here's my bracket right here.
Nice.
I I just think that when you look at it, I have obviously Milwaukee going all the way. Now it's different with these injuries, but I have the Knicks over the Cavs. I have the 76ers obviously over Brooklyn, and of course the Celtics over Atlanta, and I have the Celtics going all the way to the finals. And then I picked Phoenix going all the way to the finals as well. And we could talk about that in a few minutes. How the West is going. The West is very interesting. I absolutely love that conference. But a couple things I will say about Cleveland, and this is something I do not like, that I think they did better in game 2. Donovan Mitchell has this thing about him where he'll get his and other people are trying to get theirs. Take that for what it's worth. When you are the guy, when you are that person, who's your next guy? Now, as we all know, Darius Garland has been great. He's been really good, but I think he's taken a slight dip, in production when Donovan Mitchell arrived. So if you're taken away from what he does really well, you're not going to win, because he play makes really well, and he's actually a pretty good scorer as well. But if you take him out of the game and you're getting 38, 5 and 8, and then this guy has 17, 0 rebounds and 1 assist.
Oh, 1 assist. That's ugly.
1 assist. Evan Mobley, 8 and 11. Jared Allen, 14 and 14. And the bench, this is not even worth talking about. Osman with 9, Wade with 2 points, and LeVert with 3. LeVert with 3 points.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
If you're not getting other people involved, and this is a problem that I actually had with Donovan Mitchell in Utah, because I don't think it's the same issue as far as him not liking someone on the team. I haven't heard anything, but he did not like Rudy Gobert, and doesn't matter what happened, he would avoid Rudy Gobert like the plague, and if you're doing that with the person on your team, now you may not have the same issues in Cleveland, but if you're not getting people going, if you're not making sure that Darius is comfortable and in a flow, that's a problem. You're not going to win. And until he proves that he can do that consistently in a series, I'm not picking Cleveland. So
I love it. I think everything you said is just straight right on, because especially in the playoffs, when you need those other guys, and those moments when the teams are blitzing you, and you're getting 2 to 3 people thrown at you, and you got to dish, you ain't got no choice but to dish, and those guys ain't hitting because they haven't gotten the ball all game.
There you go.
What are you going to say now? They didn't get in rhythm. So you make a very valid point. I mean, yes, we all know Donovan Mitchell can go get it when he wants to. But even when you're hot, you got to be able to dish it and let the defense sit back like, all right, hold up. I know he hot, but those guys are hot too. Hold on. We can't throw 3 at him, because if we throw 3 at him, he's wide open. He's going to get 3 points from that 3-pointer. They got to play. Donovan's got to be able to be smarter enough to know that, all right, I know I'm the best player, but I also got to make sure that these guys are getting there, so that way not everything is on me. Got to be smart.
100%. You got to be smart. LeVert can't have 3 points.
Unacceptable.
Cleveland, I don't care. Do what you want with this information. LeVert can't have 3 points. He is a guy. You're weak at the wing. Your bench is weak. You're really at the point where you are because of the bursts of scoring from Donovan Mitchell. That is why you are where you are. And I get it. Evan Mobley has had a fantastic season as well. and Jared Allen, those two are not going to win you a playoff series. You know,
No.
You need better production, and you don't have a wing that's coming off the bench or in the starting lineup that's giving you much of anything. But, you know, when I look at New York, you know, I see Jalen Brunson. He also has a scoring punch, you know. Then I look at Julius Randle. Julius Randle, for all the crap people talk about him, there's so much shit out there about Julius Randle, and I just tune it out. But he plays with a chip on his shoulder. Sometimes he's emotional. He's playing a professional sport. There's emotions, people. He's not a robot. Sure. You know, he also can give you 25 and 10, 25 and 12. You know, he's a guy that does a lot of great things on that floor. And then you got Mitchell coming in, you know, and then Josh Hart off the bench. I know if he does not have 20 points, he probably has 6 to 7 assists. You know, he's probably sticking some really good defense. RJ Barrett is probably hitting some key shots. Notice how I just named everybody other than Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. And then you still have Quickly. May not have had a great first game, but he is still, you know, he's top 3 in 6-man voting. He's there for a reason as well. I named so many other people other than 1 or 2 people off that team. So that is the reason why I picked the New York Knicks. I think that they can beat you in a couple of different ways than Cleveland can.
I definitely agree with you on all those points. The only thing that I have pushback is Randall. He gets to me. He might not get to you, but man, he gets to me. I love him though. I do. Yeah. But I feel like there are moments where he doesn't have it and he's still forcing it. That's my only issue with Julius Randle. I have the same issue with LeBron. LeBron does the same thing sometimes. When you don't have it, you don't have it. Don't force it. There's times where I see Julius Randle he don't got it, but he's going to try and get it. I give him that. I give him his effort because he's going to give you effort. But he's going full steam. He kind of reminds me of Russ a little bit. Now that's a horrible person to compare him to, and I'm sorry to
shout out to Russell Westbrook. No.
Shout out to Russ because he's doing this thing. Russ is doing this thing. I'm not gonna, but we know what Russ I'm talking about. The bad Russ, the one that's gonna give you 6 turnovers.
I don't know that Russ.
Well, you know that Russ. Come on now, you know that Russ. He's there. But yeah, that's Randall has those moments, and I think he's too good of a player to know when he's not having a good game, and to just get other people involved.
So before we move on to me the best first round matchup that I think, and it's just so entertaining. What I will say about Julius Randle, I think that he is a number 3 on a championship team. And I think that is why people get so frustrated with him, because you want him to be something that he's not. Julius Randle is not a number 1 and he's not a number 2. This is not a Robin, but he has to be that right now because of personnel. But if you get someone else in there that can actually be a go-to number 1, go get me a bucket, go get me a stop kind of player, now you're taking a lot of heat and pressure off of Julius Randle, and he can actually just do what he does best, and his best is better than some people's great.
Right.
You know? So I think that when it comes to Julius Randle, that's why I give him a lot of grace, because I understand who he is. I know that man is not a 1 or a 2, and so therefore I look at him like that. I know you're not a 1 or a 2. I know you're a 3 on a championship roster. So therefore, when people ask you to go out there and give them 30, and I'm like, what are you doing? That's not his game. So that's where my grace comes from with Julius Randle, because I just know who he is, you know. So
I think that's a great point. Before we move on, I think that's a great point, because I haven't actually looked as him being a Knick. I haven't looked at it that way, because he has been our number 1. So I've only been looking at him that way. But when you put it that way, that's a great point. Randall, she might have saved you some love right there. She just saved you some love.
Yes, love for Julius Randle. Give grace to that man, okay? He's not a Batman. You don't get mad. Like, it's okay.
You're right. Good point.
This next matchup, this is giving you all the drama that you would hope for in a series. Let's talk about Sacramento versus the Golden State Warriors, the champs from last year.
Woo.
So when we talk about this, we got to talk about De'Aaron Fox really quick. So De'Aaron Fox is a guy that I have been a fan of since he entered the league. And while everyone was saying he's not him, and yes, De'Aaron, I hope you see this, they were saying you're not him. I said, you know what? Nope, he's not. Can you just send him to Boston? Because so he can not be him in Boston, And I tried. I put together different packages of what was going to work. And I said, listen, I think that he has a lot of work to do. I don't think he's that good, but hey, send him to Boston. It never works because he's clearly in a Sacramento uniform. And what does my guy do? His first playoff game, okay? He gives you 38 points and 5 assists. This guy, and is a +4 on his team. I am so amazed, but I can't be shocked at this because I know how great he is, right? You guys now are catching up to De'Aaron Fox. You guys are slow to the party, But this dude he reminds me, what I always say is, he is going to be what we hoped. And some people are going to get so mad at this. But what John Wall was supposed to be for us. And at a point, John Wall was my favorite point guard, but it was short-lived, injuries, and then he's done, But I see a high IQ, and this is not to say John Wall doesn't have a high IQ as well, but De'Aaron Fox, his speed and his craftiness and how he understands he's not Steph Curry. He's not going to shoot, basket for basket with you. But what he's going to do is he's going to go in for that floater.
Yep.
He's going to
go with what he knows.
He's going to go with what he knows. And I really wish that point guards were like that today, but they're not. They stop at that 3-point line and they let it fly. De'Aaron Fox is going into the paint, Jones, and he's getting that floater. He's not going to trade you 3 for 3 because when you miss that 3, he's going to go in for that 2.
Yep. Exactly.
Yours doesn't count. His does. Right? So you got to give this man credit because it was amazing to watch. That game was exciting from beginning to end.
Front to back.
Shout out to the Sacramento Kings fans because they showed up and showed out.
Oh my God.
This series is really what you wait for when it comes to the playoffs. This one right here, there is an underdog story a little bit, and then you got the champions, but the champions are the underdogs too. They are both underdogs and both should make it out of the series.
Yep. I love it.
But Sacramento takes them down 126 to 123. It's a close game. It was chippy. This is a chippy game. But as you know, 30 from Steph, 21 from Thompson. DiVincenzo had 10, Jordan Poole 17, Andrew Wiggins 17. Andrew Wiggins is coming off the bench, but he is back for the Golden State Warriors. Jones, what did you see in this game?
Oh, where do I start? I mean, man, first, before the playoffs started, I ranked the Cavs and Knicks game for above this game as the most exciting or the most best matched game. I was wrong. It's this series right here. It's this series, no question about it. From, like you said, front to back, we got amazing basketball from both teams. Even though some of it looked sloppy, it still was exciting to watch because every steal, every turnover, everything that you saw was still like, oh, shoot. No, you weren't just like, oh, this is just ugly basketball. You were just like, oh, these teams are going at it. They're playing physical. The refs, which is, I love the playoffs mainly because the refs hold their whistle just a little bit longer. Just hold it a little. Let them play a little physical. Thank you, please. Thank you, refs. Keep that going because we need a little physicality in the playoffs. It makes it that much more better. It makes it that much more fun. But like you said about De'Aaron Fox, I'm going to move on past De'Aaron Fox because you said everything that you needed to say about De'Aaron Fox. You were right on. I want to go on to my guy that the Lakers let go, Malik Monk. Oh, my God. My boy is lighting it up. And he's not, and I don't mean just from three. He can shoot and he can take it to the rim. And it is beautiful to watch, to see him flourish, do what he's doing. As when he was with the Lakers, I was loving it. I was very upset that we let him go. For people that are watching, they're saying, aren't you a Knicks fan? I'm a Laker follower because I'm a big LeBron fan. So,
oh boy,
wherever LeBron goes, I'm gonna support that team.
We're gonna get him, y'all. We're gonna get him. Don't worry. It may not be this episode, but we will get him.
I'm ready. I'm like Shannon Sharp up in here when it comes to LeBron. I'm here. I'm ready for all the smoke when it comes to LeBron.
Boy.
But we're gonna get to that. Another thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to Sacramento is that speed. That speed. I don't know if there's a team that can match that in the NBA. And that's one of the reasons why they were the highest scoring team in the NBA, because who can match that? Who can, for 4 quarters, especially that game 1, game 2, it slowed down a little bit, but game 1 from first quarter to fourth quarter, miss or make, when that ball came out the net, they were gone. They were gone. And the Warriors, I give them credit because they stayed in it. I thought they were going to lose gas by fourth quarter and the Kings were going to run them out. Now, they ended up winning still, but, man, I don't know if that's what worries me about the Warriors. I know they still have the heart of a champion. They've been there, done that. But to keep up with this young team, and before I let we switch.
Go ahead, yeah.
People forget, and I used to say this about LeBron. I'm going to say this for the Warriors. The Warriors have been here for a very long time. They've been doing this for a very long time. So there's some tired legs. Regardless of what they're doing out there, there's a lot of mileage on those legs. And this King team, they're fresh. They're fresh, and they're young, and they're getting at it. So I think that's going to be a huge difference in this series.
Listen, when it comes to this series, what I see, and this is the same thing I said when it came to LeBron-led teams, no one is scared of you anymore. You know, no one cares. No one cares that, you know, you're LeBron James and you play for the Lakers. So what? You know, that's how you lost that series, you know, before, what was it with the, was it Phoenix, I think, that pushed them out. They was like, hey, we smell blood. You know, we're going to get you. We don't care who you are, you know, and you're getting older and we know it, you know. So they struck, you know, while the iron was hot, you know. And then the next year you didn't make it. You know, you didn't make it because people made sure you didn't. They were like, all right, you know, we know you're injured. We know you this. We smell blood. And you know, we're going to keep you out. And then even this year, you know, they're playing better as of later. 7th seed still.
Still 7th seed.
Now you look at Golden State, no one is afraid of you. What people did was they went out and got 3-point shooters too. They went out and got guys that can move in transition and run in transition too. Transition defense, transition offense. They went and got the same personnel pretty much. They're not afraid of you.
Their coach, one of their coaches.
One of the coaches. They went and got one of your coaches. And shout out to Mike Brown. He just got Coach of the Year.
Mike Brown.
Deserved. Best offense in the league. They had the longest playoff drought. And now he got into a 3rd seed. And now they are 2 wins away from knocking out the champs, the defending champs. What can you say about this team? They deserve everything they are getting. You know why I have love for Sacramento? Because you drafted one of my favorite big men all time in DeMarcus Cousins. That's one of the reasons why I really like y'all, because you had a hand in his career. You know, DeMarcus Cousins, I really wish they ask, what injuries can you take away from a player? I'll always go to DeMarcus Cousins. I want to take every injury away that he's ever had and let him just play. I'm show you how a big man's supposed to play, But this team, they're exciting. They're playing smart. The biggest knock to them coming into this series is that they can't defend.
Right.
I don't know about you, but they're looking like they're defending.
Oh, for sure. No
Isn't
doubt.
that interesting?
No doubt. They are defending.
Oh my goodness. Really quick, Jones, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back, you guys.
Jazz, Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, the world's best resource for all-purpose online wagering. For over 20 years, Jazz has provided the best and quickest payouts in sports and entertainment wagers. Live sports betting, covering all the major sports leagues, and even into the new and exciting world of esports. Down the stretch you'll come, with Jazz's online horse wagering. Get paid when you play with Jazz's fun and exciting online casino games. Go online now and use the promo code TSS for our new members deals. Jazz Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, the world's best resource for online wagering.
All right, and we're back, you guys. So I remember when we said that no one can run with these guys, and I don't want to brag, but I do remember on March 21st, the Kings played a team that finished number 2 in the East. They're pretty good. These guys wear green. They're all right. They could be better, I guess, but they wear green and white. Based out of Boston. Solid team. So they held the Kings to 109 points. While that green team went on to score 132. 36 from Jason Tatum, 27 from Jaylen Brown, 20 from Derek White, 17 from Smart, 11 from Horford. The bench, Robert Williams 6 and 7, Brogdon 4 and 3. Low numbers for the sixth man of the year. Yes, sixth man of the year. And 6 and 5 from Grant Williams. So there's a team that can run with them. Jones, there is a team that they don't want to see. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to my Celtics.
That's what she really wanted to say. Is a shout out to the Celtics.
Yeah, those are my guys. They make me so happy. They do. But let's, while we're on the Kings subject, as that second game that got brutal. There was some playoff basketball. What do you think of the Domantas Sabonis, Draymond Green little battle here going on? The holding of the foot and then the stomping, or stepping on the chest. What do you think of that whole altercation?
So, I'll start off by saying Sabonis was definitely wrong for grabbing Draymond's foot or leg. It wasn't a playoff move. It wasn't a basketball move, a basketball play. So just like Draymond, he should have been ejected from the game because it was not a playoff game. Now, being suspended, I won't go that far. Draymond, I understand your frustration as far as someone grabbing your leg, but to stomp on their chest, not a good look, especially coming from you. We know your history. We know this is what we expect from you. And that's not what you keep putting yourselves in these positions and then saying, I'm sorry, I keep putting my team in this position. But you keep doing it. So are you really sorry? That's my thing with Draymond. And I think that's the reason why he actually ended up getting suspended. Would I have suspended him if there wasn't no priors? No. But because of his priors, that's what got him suspended. They know, all right, you know what? This is what Draymond, he don't want to listen. So just give him a game because he don't want to listen. It's like a kid at school. He don't want to listen. All right, just suspend him for a week or whatever the case may be because he don't want to listen. So we don't want to deal with him right now. So that's what the league is doing, right? You know what, Dre? You don't want to listen. Not only do you not want to listen, you want to hurt players and then you want to cause a scene at the end of it and bring on more attention to yourself that's not needed. So I think all of that is what got him suspended. If it wasn't for all that, I think he would have been fine with probably just a fine. Sabonis, I don't know if Sabonis got fined, but I think he probably should get a fine. But yeah, Dre, you got to be smarter than that. 2016, we know what happened. You should have learned from that moment on. I'm never going to put my team in this position ever again because it cost me a ring. I could have 5 rings. You could have 5 of those things right now. One more than LeBron. And now you're sitting looking, you're part of a history that nobody wants to be a part of. And now you're about to put yourself in another position where another conversation that you do not want to be a part of. Defending champ, possibly getting swept in the first round after winning a championship? Not against this Kings team.
So this is why, in a way, I didn't mind what Sabonis did, but I had an issue with what Draymond did. That move that Sabonis did, where he kind of just made sure that he couldn't run, over him or just run, is something that they do damn near in every game. I've seen that same exact thing done in every single game. And it's not like he's holding on to, his legs for dear life, trying to snap it. He was just trying to make sure that it wasn't a 5-on-4. So if you look at the clip, right, and then you look at what Draymond did, I feel like he took the opportunity to step on his chest.
For sure.
That's what I saw. He took the opportunity, that was my issue with the Draymond Green thing, because it was like he had control of his body where he could have moved his foot where it did not step on that man's chest. And you put all your weight on his chest, and it's the way he jumped and the way he moved.
Yeah.
Dude, come on. Like you were pissed, you were upset, and therefore you took it that moment. You took that moment to step on his chest. And I was like, you didn't have to do that. You had control over your feet, actually. He actually had control over his feet. If you actually really look at that whole thing, he did not have to do that, and he chose to. So I don't mind, what has, come down on him, because you didn't have to make that choice. You have a history. If you have a history, why are you going to, hold true to your history? You've been suspended for a playoff game before, so you do the same thing and you're going to be suspended again. But this time you haven't won any games. You don't have a game under your belt in the playoffs this year. You've never been down 0-2. You know the statistics for a team down 0-2 like this? It's not good. It's not good. So, I've seen that play that Sabonis did a billion times, and no one has ever said, let's throw every single person that's done it out or whatever. Stop him from running or whatever, or they do the little trip thing or whatever, because they're on the ground and the other big guy is about to run, and then they do something to like just stumble them a little bit, and then so they both can get up and then they can be neck and neck. So I've seen it before, which is the reason why I was like, Dre, why'd you step on his chest? I was like, you just could have moved out the way or been dramatic and fell.
Right.
Yeah. How about that? Everyone talks about be smart, right? How come you didn't just fall and say, man, look, he held me? That would have, you probably would have got that call.
For sure.
That's my problem with it, So I want to get really quick into your bracket. Let's look at your bracket because I posted mine. What is yours? Let's see what you have here.
So I have a similar bracket to yours, but did you have you have your Celtics in the finals against Phoenix.
Oh, look at this. Yes, I do.
Yes. And I think what we did have different, I'm not sure if it's changed since, but I had Sacramento advancing. I think you had Warriors advancing.
I did.
And
I had Grizzlies advancing. I had Phoenix going to the finals. I had the Celtics going to the finals. It's pretty close.
It's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. But overall, the reason why I have Phoenix winning it all is I just think it's their time. I just have a gut feeling, not just because of KD. Obviously, he's the biggest reason, but I think it's their time. They've been heading in the right direction the last few years. They made it to the finals not too long ago. Last game, I mean, they took turns just lighting it up. They took turns. KD lit it up. Book lit it up all the second half, and then to finish it off, CP3 finished it off. So if that team can stay healthy, I think that's the biggest thing. If they can stay healthy and they make it to the finals, I don't think there's a team that can see them. But I will say, wait, did I? No, oh, wow. Did I really have? Oh, no, this is your bracket.
No, this is all you, man.
No, this is mine. Did I have the Lakers beating Sacramento?
Yeah.
I think I fought back and forth with that one. I thought I picked Sacramento.
That's the homer.
No, I
in
did.
you.
No, I did have the Lakers. I went with wow. I went back and forth with that.
That's the homer in you right there. That is the homer in you.
Yeah, Woo! Yeah. That's a hard one. Oh man, that's a tough one because Sacramento is.
They don't have those scoring lapses like the Lakers do. They keep scoring.
Exactly.
They keep going.
When they play defense, the Lakers. I mean, when Sacramento can play defense, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Lakers. They've been great since they've made the new trades and stuff like that. But
right.
I don't know if they can mess with that team. I might have to switch that. I'm not gonna lie. I hate to do that to my Lakers. But
it's out in the world now, Jones. You can't take it back, man. Listen, I have on my bracket, right? You know, and I say it's gonna take a couple minutes before we get out of here. But on my bracket, I picked Phoenix going to the finals as well. Now I picked them because I think that there's some tough shot makers on that team. You know, I just think that they are going to be a tough out. The problem that I did not look at, and I think that, you know, it'll kind of bite me a little bit where it might not be true. They don't have a bench. They have no one coming off that bench. They might as well just run, you know, Kevin Durant at 35 years old, you know, for over 40 minutes. Just run him the whole.
Played 45 last game.
Yeah, just you know what, play the whole thing. 48 minutes, you know, just play the whole thing, you know, because let that 35-year-old man go and kill himself out there because y'all didn't go get a bench, you know. But that's what I see the problem is the last couple games. You have to play 40-something minutes to win by 5.
Yeah.
You know, to win by 6. That is why I think that prematurely, they might be out, and they have to build that bench up. And I'm only saying this because even though I said Booker, you know, and KD, Chris Paul, he's older. He's gonna have those spurts where he looks older, you know. And then you have Ayton, who just to me looks like a deer in headlights half the time. When DeAndre Ayton is on the floor, it's almost like he does not want to be there, and he does not want to be dominant. He's frustrated. The most frustrating big man in this league is DeAndre Ayton because he should be talked about, you know, like the top 3 of them. You know, he's not, because he is just lackluster, and that is actually the problem right there. If he was a guy that could command the floor and actually understand that he can be dominant, this is a different conversation.
This team would be so dominant if Chris Paul could take a break. He could go sit. KD, Book, and Ayton. That should be the conversation. CP, he should just be, you know, an add-on. All right, look, I'm gonna get y'all the ball, but I don't need to do anything else but get y'all the ball. Where you want it? That should be Chris Paul's job right now.
100%.
Where do you want it? That's it.
Yeah.
But
no. Yeah, but
it's sad that he has to do much.
No, they got to do more. But if they're gonna go get anywhere, DeAndre Ayton has to assert himself. But this was a great show. Jones, let the people know where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Jones and for Sports. Jones, comma, and for sports. Like I said, at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much anywhere. You can also find the Jonesin Podcast on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. And check me out, subscribe, the whole nine.
That's dope. And you can find me, guys, as you know, Nat_the_GM, Nat the GM, on Twitter. All right. So I appreciate you guys. Welcome, Jones, again. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for coming to the 3P Podcast. Have a great night.
Repeat it.